Hello, my bookish babes. I'm back to not looking like shit today. I kind of got a new setup and I really hope that the camera looks good right now. I'm not really sure what's going on. I run this back and I edit it. It better be top tier. This is our second wrap up in a row this month because, as you guys know, I was a little late with the last one. This is going to be our April wrap up and I'm going to go through all the books that I read in April. I might do a TBR at the end of this. I don't know. I read a lot of books, but a lot of them were series. So it really depends on how long this is going. If I'm starting to feel like it's taking just a little too long, we're just going to cut it, okay? Because anyway, I don't really stick to my TBRs, so sometimes I do. I know it's not great. This is actually going to take such getting used to. But anyway, let's start with the first book in April, which was Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Bitch. This was my first time reading a YA book in such a long time. And when I tell you, I enjoyed myself thoroughly, okay? Jax has my heart, and the fact that Stephanie was able to drag out any sort of romantic interaction between the two of them to like the last book, and I was hooked. That's not to say there wasn't tension. There was definitely tension throughout the book, but that's how you know the plot, bestie, it was plotting, because I was sat for every single little thing. I wanted to know the story. I wanted to know, was her sister really doing what she did? It's like, it's so hard not to give away spoilers because I just want to like rant on and on about everything I loved. So good, so good, so good. I also love that we essentially have like gods. I mean, they're called fates, but different gods, different powers, and they are morally a little questionable. I did rate Once Upon a Broken Heart a 4.5. Then The Ballad of Never After, which is the second book, that was a 5-star. And then The Curse for True Love was 4 stars. I think the second one, I sped through that one so quickly because it had me hooked. The fourth one, honestly, I think it was just because Jax wasn't in it as much. I really think that was my reasoning. And like, sometimes I had valid reasons for knocking down a star from a book, and then other times it's literally for the pettiest shit. Oh, so you took away my favorite character. Honestly, Stephanie Garber, I don't know what she's putting in her books, but this thing was like crack. On top of that series, I also read the Caraval series, which technically I was probably supposed to read first, but whatever. I honestly think those were the higher ratings because yeah, Caraval was 5 stars, Legendary was 4.5, and then Finale was also 5 stars. So yeah, this series, dare I say, it was way better than Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I'm kind of glad I did read Once Upon a Broken Heart first. So that way I was able to thoroughly enjoy that one without comparing it to Caraval, because then I probably would have been a little disappointed. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of a breakdown of both the series. So in Once Upon a Broken Heart, we're following Evangeline Fox and Jax. I don't know his last name, don't fucking ask me, but he's the Prince of Hearts. Our girl Evangeline, she ends up falling for this guy. He ends up trying to marry his sister, which she's like, this is not right. You know, me and him are in love, so clearly he's under a spell, and my stepmom must have done it because she's a fucking bitch. So it's actually kind of giving Cinderella a little bit. Not quite the same thing, but you know, similar vibe. She ends up going to the Prince of Hearts because he is eternally cursed to basically kill everyone that he's ever fallen in love with. One kiss from him and these girls are done for. She's like, he would know about heartbreak and somebody that you love being cursed. He'll help me break it. She could not be more wrong about Jax. He honestly does not give a shit, much like the rest of the fates. They don't really care. Evangeline, she goes through some bullshit throughout all of this, and she owes him. Even though I'm not really sure she ever got her end of the deal. It was a little fucked up the way Jax played that. But yeah, she had to pay her price, and this man dragged it out. Oh my god. She ends up getting with this prince, Apollo, which I fucking hate Apollo. At first, you're just kind of like, okay, he's there. But by the end of the series, yeah, and like part of me is like, is it even his fault? He went through a lot, but at the same time, I can't excuse it. And then we have the Caraval series. Oh my God, like I love them so much. So we're following two separate couples throughout the entire thing. Initially, it starts off with the two sisters, and then we jump into it and they meet their love interests, and the books are split up like that. So the first one is following the eldest sister, Scarlet Dragna. I'm not going to tell you her love interest in that book because it'll kind of spoil everything. She's got quite a list of people on her roster that could possibly be her love interest. I don't know. I'll let you figure that one out if you decide to read it. She is initially arranged to marry some fancy guy with a fancy title. She's never even met him, never seen him in person, nothing. They've like written notes back and forth. And of course, after years of her letters being ignored by Legend, the mastermind of Caraval, right before she's about to get married, he invites her and her sister. And Scarlett's like, hell no, I have to stay here. If you want to go, Donatella, the youngest sister, you can go ahead and go, but I'm going to stay here. And then Donatella and this random fucking hookup, Julian, kidnap Scarlett and take her to Caraval. From then on, it's just insane. It is maybe like a full week of make-believe, but not. Things are very real, but it's almost like anything that happens in Caraval stays in Caraval, you know what I'm saying? And you're warned multiple times to not get too lost, okay? It's all pretend. It's all a fantasy. But yeah, the things that are happening in this book, I mean, there are even deaths going on. What the fuck do you mean? It's all pretend. It's all pretend. Meanwhile, people are fucking dying. Like, hello? I would lose my mind. I'd feel like I was going crazy. And the second one, Donatella is in cahoots with Legend. She's kind of required to have to figure out who Legend is for a particular reason. Can't really go into detail on that. And then the last one, she finds out who Legend is, obviously, and like there's this whole thing. She finds out something else, and I literally cannot tell you the rest because that is all a spoiler. Stephanie Garber's work is so whimsical. You are immersed into this world and you never want to leave. If I could relive reading these books, I would. 110%. Wipe my memory clean now. And then we have Kiss of the Basilisk, which I gave 3 stars. You know, I'll be honest, I didn't mind the plot. I do think, as much as people say it was just sex, which there was a lot of smut. I will not lie to you. I skipped pages and pages of smut because it just felt like it was one after another, after another, after another. Yes, if you are not a fan of heavy smut, I do not recommend this book at all whatsoever. But like I said, I really did enjoy the plot when it was happening. Also, the smut was pretty good. It was just overdone. Felt like I was reading the same spicy scene over and over and over again. It was just like, can we get back to the point? Can we get back to the point? The stuff that happens in this book is wild. I loved the tension. I loved the forbidden aspect. I loved the love triangle. Oh, I loved the love triangle. Part of me really didn't know which side to pick out of these two men that we're introduced to in this book because they're both great in their own way. I know she's got more like a bond, soul tie a little bit with one, but I don't know. The prince is looking mighty fine. Okay. Actually, I think they're both princes. One's like a snake prince. The other one is just a regular prince. I guess I would be more interested in the snake prince because it's just different. The action battle scene at the very end, oh my God. No, I cried. The fathers in this book, I mean, to be fair, at least they're not deadbeat dads. But at the same time, it's almost like, would it have been better if they had been? You know, if they just had not been involved in their sons' lives at all? Because they suck. Oh, they suck hard. These fathers ain't shit. I have to get into the second book. The cliffhanger, wild. Genuinely, I need to know. what happens? This man's mind is all types of fucked up, and I don't think he's going to be able to leave homegirl alone. Nothing good can come from this. The next book I read in April was Feathers So Vicious by Liv Zander. I liked it, okay? 4 stars. It wasn't a complete 5, only because I feel like the world was pretty difficult to get into at first for me. And I don't know, for this particular series, I don't want there to be 2. I have a favorite. I don't want the other guy to exist. He's not bad by any means, but why are you here? This is another like arranged marriage type of situation, and then she gets kidnapped by, I was gonna say the crow people. I mean, essentially, they turn into crows and they have magical powers and they have black hair. And that's how you're able to differentiate them from regular people, which I don't really understand, because do other people not have black hair? Like the ones that don't have magic? I don't know. I do think the magic system is actually pretty unique. I've never come across anything like this. I've never read about people turning into crows. I did start the second book and I have not finished it. I feel like I'm not emotionally connecting with the second book. Definitely going to affect my ratings. So we're going to give it some time. We're going to let it sit and marinate a little bit. And I read Ashes of the Cursed and I gave it 1 star. Technically, I DNF'd it, so I don't even know if I should be rating it because I didn't get through the whole book, but I can promise you this, I would not have enjoyed it. It was making me angry. Maybe one day I'll revisit it. No, I didn't even like the first book. Oh my god. I don't know what it is about this series that genuinely just irritates me. I'm not a fan. I cannot envision the world either. The world building in this is maybe just not descriptive enough for me to put the pieces together. For example, anything that Sarah J. Maas writes, I can picture the world vividly. What she does decide to describe in her story leaves my brain with enough pieces to kind of fill in the holes, and suddenly I've got a building, an entire street, a town. In this book, Serpent and the Wings of Night, there is nothing. I cannot picture a goddamn thing in this book. And I won't lie to you, it's fucking irritating. Can't really tell you anything about this book because I didn't get very far. I don't know, they had the whole thing where it's like they love each other and they want to like suck on each other, but then at the same time they're mad at each other because he betrayed her and she was like, fuck you, but then she was trying to run away, and I think that she's gonna start her own war with her people against his people, and I don't give a fuck. Okay, so the last series that I read is the Off Balance series by Lucia Franco. I hesitate to say anything good about this book, mainly because I do think that the topic is very sensitive, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. This is a May-December age gap between a 16-year-old gymnast and her 30-something-year-old coach. You know, multiple things happened in this book, and it made me angry, but it also satisfied my need for messy-ass characters. I love a good, messy, dramatic book where all the characters are pieces of shit. They all make stupid decisions. They're just honestly all mentally unwell. Mind you, this is a 5-book series, and I finished it in a week. Girl, when I tell you I was eating. Every 5 seconds, I was just like, there's no way that this is happening. And mind you, the coach is in a like long-term relationship where they've basically been together or known each other since they were kids. There's just a lot of things in this book that are not okay. But it's fiction, so I'll excuse it because, like I said, it was messy and it was a fun read. Now, while some people might feel like the contents are extremely inappropriate, which they are. If this were to happen in real life, motherfucker would be in jail. Even though, like, the argument throughout the entire book is like, oh, well, 16 is the age of consent, which is like, okay, cool, fine and dandy, but, like, also, he's still your coach. But I do feel like topics like this are necessary to explore and talk about, especially when you as an individual have gone through situations like this. You know, as a child, you were taken advantage of by an adult, or even just a May-December age gap even in your adulthood life, because while you two may be adults, there still is a huge imbalance of power. Somebody has been alive for decades more than you. If you haven't really experienced much in like the relationship department and you're with someone who has learned how to play the game, you can very easily get played and manipulated, and you can still get taken advantage of, even if it is a consensual adult relationship. But that age gap, especially with someone who doesn't have the best intentions, is still extremely damaging. I would know. This book did kind of help me process a lot of things that I wasn't even aware were things that were still affecting me. And like I said, I got angry at a lot of parts because I'm sitting here and I'm watching this girl, and while I wasn't necessarily 16 when all this stuff went down, there was still a naivety to my thought process that I kind of saw playing out with our main character. There was just a lot of excusing bad behavior and acting like it's not that big of a deal, or like you're the problem and you're kind of the reason why things are progressing the way that they are, when in actuality it takes two to tango, baby. Okay, it takes two to tango. I definitely do think that this book opened my eyes a little bit to things that I need to deal with, things that I need to work through. I don't want to get into, my little violin moment. All you need to know is that it was not only beneficial, but it was also a messy, fun time. Okay? These characters, oh my God, if you are here for the drama, baby, you will get drama. It doesn't stop. And then it got weirdly traumatic and emotional. Our main character, Adriana, the shit that she has gone through, the universe is throwing challenge after challenge. It's like this girl can't catch a break throughout all of it. Somehow she still remains dedicated and, eye on the prize. She is absolutely the strongest female character I have met, set in like a real world setting. The way I would have crumbled with even half of that shit being thrown at me. She is a fighter through and through. I did enjoy seeing her accomplish the things that she set out to accomplish and grow as a person, because in the last book we do jump a few years into the future and we're kind of seeing where Adriana's at then. And, Kova, while Kova and Adriana's relationship was not right, the way he loves her is very beautiful. Just kind of wish it wouldn't have started the way that it did, But he is all about her, and he absolutely changes as an individual throughout the book as well. He had a lot of growing up to do at the grown-ass age of 32, which, everybody has their own wake-up call in life and their own moment where they realize they have to put their big boy pants on. So I won't judge too hard, even though I am judging mad hard, but it's fine. Check your trigger warnings again. There's certain things in this book that just may not be for everyone to read, and that's totally fine. I do think that Lucia Franco is going to write a separate series based off of Adriana's best friend and her love interest. I'm not going to give that away in case anybody wants to read that. I fear I will be devouring that one as well. I do enjoy her writing. Her storytelling is interesting. Like the chapters, a lot of them would end in the middle of the scene. I really thought I read more books last month than apparently I did. I'm not seeing it, but I feel like I read more. Something's not right here. Well, yeah, no, that's gonna be it, guys. Kind of feel like because I look good, I do want to add a TBR, but no, it's fine. I'll probably just run an idea by you guys. Okay, so recently I've been having the itch to open up my Wattpad for the first time in years. And I don't know if I should, because here's the thing. I fear I will not read anything good. You know what? That's probably going to be the fun part of it. I don't want to be too hard on them either. Being that I've tried to write myself, I know how much time and energy it takes. So them even accomplishing sitting down every week or two and writing a chapter is just huge. Whether it's good or bad or whatever. But at the same time, it's kind of my job to critique. So feel like I got a critique. I don't I'll try to do more constructive criticism and not so much like, this is bull crap. I will talk shit about the characters though, like if I just personally don't like them as people. Thank you guys so much for watching. I feel like this video was a little short. I don't really know how it's all gonna be in editing. So maybe it's a lot longer than I think it is. Who knows? If you guys have stuck around this long, you know what I mean, maybe you can like subscribe or whatever. I hope you guys take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of your week. Drink lots of water. Read lots of books and lots of smut in particular. Am I the bad influence? I don't know. But anyway, I will see you guys next week. Bye.